Hi, Master Dan Segarra from Warrior Scale University. So today is an interesting segment for our Wellness Warrior part of our university. Previously, we talked about using the Baoding balls for self-massage and hand coordination. So today we're going to talk about something that one of the topics I enjoy, herbal remedies. And we're going to start off with Tiger Balm. I keep mine in a plastic bag because they do have a strong scent. Okay, and I have regular Tiger Balm, I have atomic Tiger Balm, and then I have my homemade Tiger Balm, which I'm going to share with you the recipe for and instructions on how to do this on your own. So basically, Tiger Balm is relatively easy. This is the Chinese version of Vicks. My grandfather, whom I get my middle name from, would use Vicks for everything. He would put Vicks on his feet. If he had a sore throat, he would put a spoon. Now, again, this is not recommended at all because some of these ingredients in Vicks could be toxic, especially Vaseline. You don't want to be taking a glob of that in your mouth. But he would take a spoonful of Vaseline, the menthol, and it would help him breathe or whatever. He'd put it under his nose, and if we were sick, he would slather us in this stuff. So this is basically the Chinese equivalent of Vicks. However, it has more herbs in it. Typical Vicks would have menthol, camphor, and a petroleum-based, like a Vaseline base to mix those things in. One of the simplest recipes for homemade Vicks used to be Vaseline and cayenne pepper. And you would just put cayenne pepper in, mix it in with the Vaseline. You could rub it on your feet in the wintertime, improve your circulation. So Tiger Balm has their secret recipe, but it boils down to it's camphor, mint, and a couple other basic herbs, which I'll share with you in my recipe. Now, homemade is, I order this stuff from Learning Herbs, which is a great website and a great company, and they have kits on how to teach yourself how to do basic herbal solutions, balms, tinctures, and things like that. And that's kind of, my instructor in the original dojang was opened by Master Robert Sohn, and Robert Sohn was a acupuncturist and also an herbalist. And he then taught, Michael Maisley, Master Banner, my first instructor. So there was a strong healing element in our dojang early on. And we had to learn to make our own bruise medicines. And we got a recipe. Then we go to Chinatown. We'd fill out hand the list to the herbalist, and then they would fill it out. We'd bring it back and mix all the herbs in a jug of vodka, and put that in a cool, damp place. And after a couple months later, we'd have some bruise medicine. And we used to get these bumps on our forearms and our shins that were pretty painful, and the bruise medicines really helped. So we'll be discussing bruise medicines in a very near segment, very soon segment. So anyway, my own Tiger Balm. So I get these little tins, from Learning Herbs, and basically it's a wax that's you take on a double boiler. So you take a pot of water, bring it to a boil, and you put another pot on top of that water, and then you melt the wax gently in that, and then you add, typically you would use oils to infuse into the wax. So menthol and camphor are really the ingredients that give it its penetrating ability, and also opens up the breathing. But then you can add things like lavender for the scent and things like that. So, and sometimes I make these and give these away as gifts. So the thing is with the wax, it keeps for a while, but it doesn't last forever. So I tend to make these in small tins, because if you make a big tin, it could go bad after a while. So that's why we do that. So basic application with this, and what people do this is they'll take a glob of this and they'll rub it on a sore spot, and then that's that. But there's a lot more applications to this. So obviously, number one is if you're having trouble, like a cold or breathing, you could take some of this. And with the Tiger Balm, here's the trick. A little goes a long way. Start off with a little, then wait a few minutes, and then add more. You put a glob of this on, and you may be regretting it, because you'll be on fire a minute later. It builds up. So that's why you want to be careful and start off and add versus, try to subtract. Because once you put this stuff on, you ain't getting it off. The second thing is you got to thoroughly wash your hands after you use this, because if you rub some on and you wipe your hands and then you touch your eye, even handling the bottle, you got to be careful, because there may be some on the outside of it. You touch your eye and you're going to be walking around with one eye closed, for a while. So you got to. This stuff is powerful. You got to be careful with it. So this is Tiger Balm. I call this Dragon Balm. Same stuff. So basically, I love the smell of this. You would take your finger and apply some to your finger, and then let's talk about the areas you can apply this to. This is the go-to in almost every Chinese baby boomer and older pocketbook for ladies and home cabinets, like we have Vicks. They have this. But you'll find more people carry this in China on their person. So basically, if you have a headache, one of the things you want to do is get a little bit on each finger, and then you rub it on your temples. Just be very careful not to get into your eyes. You rub it on your temples and massage your temples with it. And it's not just good for headaches, it also is very good to give you alertness. Like I would sometimes keep this in my car. So if I was on a long drive, I get a little drowsy, I could take a little bit of this, put it on my temples, and the evaporating coolness of the camphor and menthol would give you a cool tingling feeling and help stimulate you and wake you up. So good for that. Headaches, alertness, and whatnot. Sometimes if I did a security gig and I'm getting by myself, I'm getting a little drowsy, then that would be another thing. Nausea. Nausea, typical point for nausea is right underneath the nose. In Tang we call it injong, and it's right underneath the center of your nose and between the upper lip and the nose, and you would stimulate that point. Well, again, you can take some Tiger Balm, apply it here, and then stimulate that point with some pressure at the same time, okay? And that can help get rid of nausea. Also, a little mustache of it, and it tends to go on clear. It has a red color to it, brownish red, but it goes on clear as long as you don't glob it on. Will also be like Vicks under the nose, helping open up your nasal passages, again, lightly, because if you glob this stuff on, then you can the vapors can cause your eyes to water. So underneath the nose for nausea, opening up the nasal passages and breathing. Behind the ears also is another good point for stimulation. So temples, behind the ears, and also what's known as the third eye, right between the eyes here, indang point is another good point for stimulation with the Tiger Balm. And the back of the neck. So the back of the neck muscles, where you have the two muscles back here, you could put a dab of Tiger Balm on there and rub it into here for neck stiffness, and again, alertness as well. So if you have a stiff neck, and I have a bad neck from a car accident, so very, very helpful with that. Hapgok, which is the point between if you make an L with your finger here, the meeting point of these two bones is a pressure point. It's very painful if you press it. It's called Hapgok. Hapgook is typically used for, again, you can use it for nausea. It's large intestine point. But you can also, it also affects toothache because that nerve runs up the arm over the forearm here, underneath the arm, along the inside the bicep, and then it comes up in through the collarbone area, up along the neck and behind the ear. That's one nerve, goes all the way to here. So by stimulating this point, it can help with toothaches. Typically in Oriental medicine, that's an acupuncture or acupressure point that's stimulated when there's jaw pain or toothache. So Tiger Balm on that point also. But anytime you have Tiger Balm in your hands, got to be careful if you do this kind of stuff. So just be careful with that. One of my favorite points to use this on is Yongguan, which is the bottom of the foot, right under the center of the ball of the foot. So it's not on the ball of the foot, it's right under the center of the ball of the foot, okay? And just massaging that makes your foot feel real good, okay? But applying Tiger Balm to it can, again, the menthol camphor affects that area and can help with sore feet, tired feet. In the wintertime, poor circulation of the feet. You can apply that to both Yongguan points, and that's very effective. Tired legs, you have a point called Samsuri. So if you lower your hands where your middle finger touches the side of your leg, that's your point there that you can apply Tiger Balm to help stimulate your legs if they're tired. So, and also you can, again, all of these are massage points as well, so you can massage them. And finally, now, disclaimer, I don't know each one of your personal medical histories and whatnot, and I don't, stuff comes from China, you got to be careful because you don't always know what's in it. So when I make my stuff, I know what's in it. But this is a typical Chinese thing to do for a sore throat, is they'll take a little application on the finger, reach back as far as possible, without gagging, of course, and apply it to the tongue or the roof of the mouth. And the menthol will help. It's like almost like a lozenge. It will give a very cooling effect as you're breathing in and out. So I guess a little bit. I've done it. I'm still here. You don't want to take a glob, just a little swipe and a little tap. But again, use at your own risk when it comes to that, because I know what's in my stuff, so I know what's safe. This stuff, again, we've got stuff from China with lead in it and all kinds of stuff. But Tiger Balm has been around for many, many years. It's a trusted brand. They sell it in CVS and Walgreens pharmacies now. So, that's, you just got to watch you don't get knockoffs. So, which is easy. This is actually a knockoff, and this is actually the original Tiger Balm. Typically it'll come in this, octagon-shaped jar. So I'm going to provide the recipe on how and instructions on how to make your own if you're interested in that. Understand that making your own stuff usually turns out to be more expensive than if you were just to buy it, because they make it mass quantities. But it's also a lot of fun to learn how to make stuff like that. And you kind of put your own energy into it, when you do it, because you're a participant when you're doing that. So over the years, I've learned to make herbal pills, teas, tinctures, balms, jows, which are, liniments and whatnot. And I really enjoy that. So, I'll be adding more and more information about that as we go on into the Wellness Warrior section. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, question below. Keep in mind, though, we are martial art instructors. We're not doctors. So you got to be very careful when you're offering, any kind of advice when it comes to stuff like that. Always add a disclaimer with your students, and make sure that they go to see a qualified doctor first. Don't diagnose, but you can offer your personal experience when it comes to some of these things. Just like my grandma or my grandpa would, give me a home folk recipe. these are basically, along that line. So just keep that in mind. It's very important. You don't want to open yourself up to, trouble by, diagnosing students or giving them something and then, they have an allergic reaction to this stuff. So, always warn your students when you're, careful with that stuff. Okay? So with that, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next segment.